This is Korgos. When the Silk Road began to develop in the Han Dynasty around 2,000 years ago, it was part of the kingdom of Wushan in the western regions of China. Today, Korgos is a busy trading port on the border between China and Kazakhstan. But long ago, it was from here that the northern route of the Silk Road extended to foreign lands. After leaving this place, we'll explore the past and present of parts of the Silk Road outside China, looking for footprints left by Chinese culture. Having completed customs procedures, we leave China customs and pass through the buffer zone into Kazakhstan. Here, we're greeted by An Husai, president of the Donggan Association of Kazakhstan. He welcomes us in the Shanxi dialect and then leads us to the town of Almaty, some 380 kilometers away. Before we came here, we heard that there's an ethnic group in Kazakhstan whose people still speak the Shanxi dialect. They are the Donggan people. We want to learn a little about their history and how things are for them today. And in order to do this, we have to visit Almaty. After traveling in the hills of the Tian Shan Mountains for 6 hours, we finally arrive in Almaty. This is the Central State Museum of Kazakhstan in Almaty. We know from Chinese historical records that during the Han and Tang dynasties, today's Almaty was the Kingdom of Kang. There are several statues here of people dressed in ancient costumes. These costumes were worn by people in the Kingdom of Kang, which was also known as Kangju, from around the 2nd century BC to the 5th century AD. During China's Han Dynasty, Emperor Wu sent an envoy, Jiang Qian, to Kangju. His desire was to form an alliance against the Xiongnu tribes who were invading his empire. But this effort bore no fruit. Later, the Han Empire managed to drive the Xiongnu out using its own might. In Kangju, there was an ethnic group known as the Sugdian who were good at trade. We read in the historical record, Sugdian husbands go to foreign countries at 20 years of age. They will go anywhere they can make a profit. These traders brought silk from China's Central Plain and traded small but valuable jewels from the western regions.
В данный момент с 2004 года по государственной программе стратегическому культурному наследию ведется данный 2010 год, мы ведем научно-исследовательские работы по 5 проектам. И на 2011 год тоже планируем несколько проектов по культурному наследию. То есть политика Назарбаева как раз таки большие средства выделяет для того, чтобы мы восстановили свое культурное прошлое. Да? И мы единственным названием одного проекта дали шелковые пути, то есть шелковые ткани на Великом шелковом пути.
As it's still under study, the scarf Orazm Butova mentioned is not on display, but there are plenty of other items exhibited here that are just as interesting. This is an oil painting depicting descendants of Kangju, known as the Kipchak people, fighting the army of Genghis Khan. There's also a showcase of knives and firearms. This handgun is from the 18th century. It's interesting to note that historians believe that gunpowder was brought to the world from Central Asia by the Mongolian army during their western campaign of the 13th century. We also see some items used by Donggans and several old photos. The possibility of meeting some Donggan people is raised again. To arouse our curiosity, before leaving Almaty for Kordey, where there is a Donggan settlement, we're brought to Bai Yanhu Street, which is named after an ancient Donggan leader. On the street, there's a store selling cold drinks. As it happens, the owner is a Dungan.
口儿带你去过？你去过吗？口儿带，对，口儿带。
口袋老虎会贵州人多。
我这朋友是口儿带的，两个说到这儿街上来看一看。
口袋好。
哦，好。
口袋200 km 这。
200 km，200公里。
The team leaves for Corday, which is located to the southwest of Almaty, in the border area between Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan. The team arrives in Corday around noon. As they're still quite far from the town where the Dungans live, their host has arranged lunch for them. On the way to the restaurant, a unique building attracts their attention. It is a mosque with eaves and brackets that are typical of Chinese buildings. An Hussein arranges for an imam to go over and open the mosque. In the wide courtyard of the mosque, there stands a Chinese-style hall with an iron roof. This is the chapel, and it uses a traditional wooden post and beam structure. It can hold around 200 worshippers. Above the imam's seat, one can see layers of brackets. On the upswept eaves hang Chinese-style lanterns. The imam tells us that this mosque, built in 1886, was designed to draw local Dungans. It was modelled after the Great Mosque in Xi'an by an architect from Urumqi. After lunch, we drive to Corday. At dusk, we see a poster which reads, "Building Kazakhstan into one of the world's 30 great powers by 2030. This is the Corday we're curious about. It's getting late and the villagers are preparing a meal for us. Our guide offers to take us to Suyab. Suyab is within the territory of Kyrgyzstan but borders Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan. It's the birthplace of Li Bai, the great Tang dynasty poet. This mound is the remains of Suyab. By the time dinner's over, it's already midnight and we're told we'll be staying at the homes of several Dungan villagers. The team members from Shanxi, this is rather like a hometown gathering, as these people speak the Shanxi dialect. Sitting on the kang together, they find they have a lot to talk about. At dawn, the Dungan farmers rise early to go to their fields by car. These days, cars are the most common means of transportation for the Dungans. In fact, it's common for a family in Corday to own 2 cars. The morning meat market has begun. We go to the market and talk with the stall owners, and they do indeed speak the Shanxi dialect. The Dungans are farmers producing 1/3 of Kazakhstan's fruits and vegetables. In recent times, contact between Dungans and Chinese has become frequent. In 2009, Jambar province, the province to which Corday belongs, became a sister province of Shanxi. Today, we're visiting the Museum of the History of the Village. As we enter the museum, we're treated to dragon head buns. It's said that this is the Dongans' most polite form of greeting. In the museum, we see a portrait of Bai Yanhu, and we begin to understand Donggan history. In 1862, there was an uprising by the Wei people in Shanxi. After it failed, the Qing court dispatched soldiers to chase down the rebellious Wei people, and this continued for many years. Led by Bai Yanhu, more than 30,000 Wei people left their homes and crossed the Tian Shan Mountains. 3,000 of those who made it came here. This is the origin of the Donggan ethnic group. The Dongans still like to wear their traditional costumes. These are the wedding dresses and headdresses of the Donggan women. This hairstyle is called the Yan Yan style.
These
old villagers are singing ancient folk songs that are still popular in the north of Shanxi province in China. Despite living in Kazakhstan, the Donggan people have preserved their Chinese culture. They can thus be compared to leaves falling into a neighbor's courtyard. The team heads west to their next destination, Tashkent, the capital of Uzbekistan, along the border between Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan. Tashkent is 700 kilometers away. In ancient times, traveling merchants needed to stop for a rest and feed their horses and camels. And these days, it's cars that need to refuel. Interestingly, we find more than one gas station displaying the logo of PetroChina. According to the locals, PetroChina has over 100 gas stations in Kazakhstan and is also engaged in petroleum, extraction and refining and retail industries. We arrive in Tashkent, the capital of Uzbekistan. Tashkent is also known as Stone City, and interestingly, in China during the Sui and Tang dynasties, it was known as the Kingdom of Rock. Among Chinese who have left their footprints here are Zhang Qian, Fa Xian and Xuanzang. In downtown Tashkent, one can view the remains of the Garden of Thousands of Apricots. Despite having a history of 2,200 years, the remains of altars and markets can be clearly seen. Among the items unearthed here were ancient Chinese coins of the Han and Tang dynasties. In the center of Tashkent is Amir Timur Square. The bronze statue here is of Timur, the greatest monarch in the history of Uzbekistan. Beside Amir Timur Square is the Amir Timur Museum, where artifacts that once belonged to Timur and his family are displayed. This great emperor, who lived in the 14th century, claimed that he was a descendant of the Mongols and related to Genghis Khan by marriage. However, most historians believe that he was in fact a Turk. People often referred to Timur as Lame Timur because his leg was wounded in battle. However, he was a military genius. Through years of military campaigns, he established a truly great empire that stretched across Central and Southern Asia, Asia Minor, and Arabia. At that time in Asia, only the Ming Empire under Emperor Yongle could rival that of Timur. In the museum, there are many porcelain items, silk garments, and books from China. Timur was eager to make wealthy China part of his own territory, and he even mobilized his army in preparation for an invasion of China. However, soon after setting off, this emperor, who had been engaged in campaigns for many years, fell seriously ill and passed away in Kazakhstan. As the sun sets, Tashkent is bathed in a beautiful glow, and the sound of history echoes in the air. Timur is the hero of this country, and his is a name heard repeatedly along the Silk Road. We leave Tashkent for Samarkand, the next most important town on the Silk Road. In China's Sui and Tang dynasties, Samarkand was also part of the Kingdom of Kang. In today's Samarkand, wonderful Arabian buildings can be seen everywhere, so it's surprising to learn that before the 7th and 8th centuries, Islam was not popular in Samarkand or Central Asia in general. The Islamization of Central Asia came about as a result of a war. In the year 750 AD, the 9th year of the Tianbao period of the Tang dynasty, Gao Xianzhi was dispatched from China to wage a military campaign in Samarkand and Tashkent. The rising Arabian Empire, or the Kingdom of Dashi, dispatched an army to help defend the cities. And the following year, the Tang army and the Dashi army fought a decisive battle. In the end, it was the Tang army that was annihilated. And after that, it lost control of the kingdoms of Central Asia, and Islamic culture became the dominant cultural force in Central Asia. But there was an interesting side effect of this war. A few papermaking craftsmen of the Tang army were captured and taken to Samarkand, and there they taught papermaking skills and built the first paper mill in the Arabian Empire. The Arabs soon spread this papermaking technology to Europe and other places, fostering the development of human civilization. As Samarkand was the capital of the powerful Timurid Empire, it was naturally here that the Tomb of Timur was built. It's a building from the 15th century with a spherical conical vault. Spectacular and brightly coloured, it's considered a gem of Central Asian architecture. Although not large, the mourning hall is magnificently decorated. The sarcophagi of Timur and his family were placed in the mourning hall, while the coffins that held their actual remains were buried underground. The object here that immediately attracts one's attention is the green jade coffin made for Timur by his grandson Ulugh Beg. It's made from Hetian jade, a famous type of jade found only in Xinjiang, China. Although Timur was always away fighting campaigns and did often massacre the inhabitants of the cities he passed through, he wasn't considered a destroyer of the Silk Road.
You see, I would like to tell you that during the Mongol period time, unfortunately, most of the caravan roads became unsafe. And as soon as Amir Timur started to create his big state, his big empire, he wanted to make all these caravan, great Silk roads, safer for merchants, for travelers. So because exchanging of the goods, of the stuffs, developed not in one country, but other countries on the Great Silk Road. Exchanging of the ideas, exchanging with the information, it was very important, definitely in old times. So, and as soon as Amir Timur heard or somebody complained that one of the caravan was robbed somewhere, he tried to catch those thieves or robbers and try to punish them and make all these caravan roads, the Great Silk Road, safer.
In its long history, Samarkand has been through various ups and downs. In the 3rd century BC, the city was occupied by none other than Alexander the Great of the Macedonian Empire. In 1219, at which time it was the capital of the Khwarezmian Empire, it was conquered by the cavalry of Genghis Khan, and its inhabitants were massacred. As a hub on the Silk Road connecting Persia, India and China, his fortunes have waxed and waned over a period of more than 2,000 years. We leave Samarkand and travel westward, our next destination being an ancient city on the Silk Road called Bukhara. On the way, we visit the site of a caravanserai built in the 11th century. For most of human history, people depended for transportation on horses and camels, but they could only travel 20 to 30 kilometers a day. Along this 240-kilometer stretch of road between Samarkand and Bukhara, 10 caravanserais were needed. This caravanserai has a trading hall, guest rooms, and a paddock. This is the bathroom. The bathroom was the place where traveling merchants bathed and talked business. Many coins and pottery items have been unearthed from the site, and they're now on display in Tashkent's History Museum. Most of them are from China. On the other side of the road, about 200 or 300 meters from the caravanserai, there's a waterhole built in the same period. Amazingly, the water is almost 1 meter deep and it's still crystal clear. This is a suburb of Bukhara. Even at 4 p.m. or 5 p.m, it's still hot, so shopkeepers splash water around to lower the temperature. On both sides of the roads, there are sculptures depicting traveling merchants and camel caravans. And by chance, we find a sculpture of Afanti. The Uyghur ethnic minority of China claim Afanti was born in Kashgar, but the people of Uzbekistan insist that he was born in Bukhara. When the Tang dynasty ruled in China, Bukhara was part of the kingdom of An. Its name, which comes from Sanskrit, means Buddhist temple. But in today's Bukhara, there is not one Buddhist temple to be found. This is because in the year 708, Bukhara was occupied by the Arabian Empire, and Islam became the dominant religion. Bukhara was an important trading center on the Silk Road. At that time, a large number of merchants brought silk, porcelain, ironware, and gold and silver objects from China to this place of trade. Even today, these ancient buildings are still used as shops. In the streets crammed with goods, we feel as though time has stopped and history is repeating itself from one generation to the next. We leave Bukhara for another ancient city, Khiva, 400 kilometers away. In the midday heat, the temperature rises to 40 degrees Celsius, yet along the route in this desolate desert, there's just one rather shabby rest area. Not surprisingly, most travelers going to Khiva make a stop here. Tofu, so loved by Chinese people, is a popular dish here as well. Inside the tavern, we see that the owner's freezer is made in China. The midday heat brings everything to a stop. There are very few cars on the road in front of the gate. This road leads to China's Lianyungang port to the east, and it connects with Europe in the west. Many Chinese products are transported to Central Asia along this road, and quite possibly this is why the owner acquired a made-in-China freezer. Behind the shop is the Amu Darya, the longest river in Central Asia. In the Tang dynasty over 1,000 years ago, the Tang administrative area extended to this place. By the river, there's a construction site. It looks like efforts have been made to repair the damaged road. Not far away, there are several grave mounds. It's said that these are the graves of road builders who died on the job and were buried here. We continue our journey. We finally arrive in the ancient city of Khiva at dusk. And in the evening mist, we can just faintly make out the blue vault of the mosque. Music resonates in the air as somewhere in the city there's a celebration of some kind. In the night, Khiva looks as if it's stepped off the pages of a fairy tale. There's a saying in Central Asia, I would offer a bag of gold for a peek of Khiva, so we feel fortunate to be visiting this unique and charming city. Exiting from Khorgos and taking the northern route of the Silk Road, we passed through Almaty, the former capital of Kazakhstan, and visited Kordey, where the Dungan people live. We're currently in Uzbekistan, where we've already visited 3 historic cities, Tashkent, Samarkand and Bukhara. Now, we've reached the small city of Khiva in southwest Uzbekistan. Khiva was the site of the last caravanserai on the ancient road to Iran. The history of Khiva can be traced back to the 4th century, and in the time since then, there have been frequent changes of religions and regimes. It's been under the control of the Persian, Mongol and Timurid empires. At other times, there were small kingdoms here, all of them offering tribute to China. In the Turki language, Khiva means aridness. This is perhaps a reflection of the fact that even in the early morning, the city glows in the heat from the sun. It's said that the city walls of Khiva were built in the 10th century. There are some 50 significant historical buildings here in this charming place. The surroundings are certainly unique. There are old walls, magnificent minarets and pebbled pathways, all of which come together to create a fairy tale-like atmosphere. In the 10th century, when Khiva was an important trade center on the Silk Road, camel caravans could be seen carrying goods back and forth from China from dawn till dusk. Today, most of these ancient buildings are still used for selling goods from China. The toys, stationery, jewelry, sunglasses and digital watches on sale are reasonably priced and appeal to tourists and locals alike. Khiva has around 50,000 people, and their daily necessities also come from China. They're readily available in markets throughout the city. Exiting Khiva, we head west toward Russia. As we're taking a morning break by the roadside, the logos on our cars catch the attention of some men in a van. They turn out to be Chinese workers building roads here.
我们是中国路桥，到这儿等于到乌兹别克这个做的第一个项目，这也是这个国家这是亚航的一个项目，是亚航的一个项目。因为说我们到这儿将近1年的时间，我们现在整个要做40公里的全长，道路全长是40公里，这条路因为直接通到那个哈萨克斯坦，一个很对他们在这个交通上起着很重要的一个作用。
After saying goodbye to project manager Wu, we move on, and we soon pass the road construction site where the men we've just met have been working. Next, we enter a strip of desert. This is the Kaizul Kum Desert, called by the locals simply Red Desert. In the distance, we see a train running by. This railroad is in fact part of the very long Second Eurasian Continental Bridge. It connects the Chinese port city of Lianyungang with Amsterdam in Holland. We move northward along the east coast of the Caspian Sea, which is in fact the world's largest lake. Shortly after entering Kazakhstan, we arrive in Atirau, which borders Russia. The Saraysk Museum, 55 kilometers north of Atirau, commemorates the 7 Khans of the Golden Horn Khanate that was formed by Genghis Khan's grandson, Batu Khan. The Golden Horn Khanate was one of the 4 Khanates of the Mongol Empire. Saraisk was once a great city. It had caravanserais, mosques, palaces, and advanced water diversion and drainage systems. Inside the museum, there's a display of porcelain. Although these porcelain items were made in ancient times by local craftsmen, they're modeled after porcelain from China. Saraisk is situated by the Ural River. Because the river was rerouted, however, the ancient city of Saraisk was submerged. Today it's just an area of small, desolate hills. Having entered Russia via Atirau, we head to Sochi. In a small town, we spend the night in a hotel, the best the town has to offer. As the hotel's only just opened for business, there is a smell of paint about the place. In our hotel room, we make another discovery. All toiletries are made in China. When we mention this to the staff at the front desk, we're told that almost everything in the hotel is made in China.
Made in China.
This sofa is from China? This is China? This content is from China?
This China.
This is China? Oh, this is China. How about this one?
Yes.
This is from China. Oh, interesting. The light is from China?
Maybe
from China.
По-моему, да, с Китая, потому что когда с Китая привозят, там...
Это все Китай,
Yes.
This is made in China.
China, made in China.
China.
Sochi is on the coast of the Black Sea. To traverse the Caucasus Mountains, we'll have to drive along winding roads. Sochi is in fact Russia's most renowned tourist resort. It was in Sochi that Nikolai Ostrovsky completed his How the Steel Was Tempered. Beyond the Black Sea is Turkey. For the Roman Empire, it was important to be able to pass through Central Asia, climb over the Caucasus Mountains, enter Turkey via the Black Sea, and then turn into the Silk Road. This was a route that made it possible for merchants to bypass the vast territory controlled by the Persian Empire. After a night's travel at sea, the Turkish port city of Trabzon becomes visible in the distance. In Trabzon, our Turkish guide gives each of us a gift and a lesson about Turkish culture.
我现在就是说里面就是土耳其的最有名的、最有特色的有一个东西，就是一个纪念的，就是土耳其的蓝眼睛。这个眼睛还是我先给你戴一下，主要是我们都相信这个蓝眼睛就是保护你，去掉的不好事情。就是我们土耳其人如果问我土耳其颜色什么颜色，我觉得就是蓝色。原来我们信。 就是萨满教，是我们民族什么时候开始信伊斯兰教？9世纪，9世纪以前就是我们都是信萨满教。你们也知道，游牧民族就是信萨满教的。萨满教就是主要是崇拜蓝天，这民族习惯就是蓝色眼睛，就是蓝色的。
We leave Trabzon for Turkey's famous historical city, Amasya. This city was built in the valley of the Green River, Turkey's second largest river, and it's surrounded by steep cliffs. The castle on top of the hill was built in 2000 BC, and later it was rebuilt by various dynasties. In Roman times, the troops of Julius Caesar seized the city. It was, in fact, right here that the great Roman emperor made his famous statement, "I came I saw, I conquered. Several caravanserais remain on the Silk Road. One goes by the name the Stone Caravanserai. Unfortunately, however, these ones are not particularly well preserved. To see more, we must go to Safranbolu. Over 400 kilometers away from Amasya, Safranbolu is located in northern Turkey on the edge of the Anatolian Plateau. In Safranbolu, there are buildings dating to the time of the Ottoman Empire from the 13th to the early 20th century. And among them are several ancient caravanserais that service travelers on the Silk Road. Safranbolu was a trade center, and as it was close to the ports of the Black Sea, it became a trade hub connecting Europe and the trade road east to the Black Sea.
中国要经过的就是石器，中国要经过有丝绸，中国从中国到这边就是调料、香料，这边呢有什么？有铜矿，有银制品，也就是盐巴，盐这些我们用的这些东西。
This rather odd-looking building is a public bathhouse. It belonged to a caravanserai known as Jinsi Han. Jinsi Han means an inn for little ghosts. And incredibly, this 400-year-old inn is still in business today. Though it's listed as a World Heritage Site, it still offers food, lodging and bath services to guests, just as it did hundreds of years ago. Caravanserais and merchants throughout Turkey not only brought economic prosperity, they also boosted cultural exchange among different countries. Even the language was influenced by this type of exchange.
在小亚细亚有好多，有北边有，西南部有，高原地区也有，就是某一些小亚细亚都有交流的，有文化交流。比如说，我们土耳其很喜欢喝茶，红茶。我们土耳其怎么说茶？chai， 茶，这么接近，因为茶到小亚细亚到土耳其。 从北边的路，从北边的丝绸之路到这边，所以北方人怎么说？茶。南方人怎么说？对，对吧？南方你们想嘛？南方广东人，咱们怎么说这个茶？对。从南方海边到就是英国，英国人怎么说？这是茶 ，tea， 对，茶菜，这是丝绸之路。
Our last stop in Turkey is Istanbul. This long and narrow strip of water is called the Bosporus Strait. It connects the Black Sea and the Mediterranean Sea and it separates Asia from Europe. Istanbul has a history of more than 2,600 years. When it was the capital of the Eastern Roman Empire, it was called Constantinople. In the year 537, the Church of Saint Sophia was built here. At the time, it was the world's biggest Eastern Orthodox church. About 900 years later, however, the Ottomans captured Constantinople and Sultan Ahmet broke into the main hall of Saint Sophia Church on horseback. He ordered that it be converted to a mosque. Today, it is neither a church nor a mosque. It's a museum. This grand 1,500-year-old building, standing so elegantly at the junction of Europe and Asia, features both Christian frescoes and Islamic calligraphy. Another renowned ancient building in Istanbul is the Sultan Ahmet Mosque, also known as the Blue Mosque. Built in 1609, the mosque's interior is decorated with over 200,000 pieces of blue and white ceramic tile, illuminating beautiful blue beams. Hence, its alternative name. It also has a connection with China.
在土耳其，伊斯坦布 托克布皇宫里边有全世界第2个最多的石器，一共有12000块，好大的盘子，这么大盘子，都是明朝的、元朝的、明朝，都是蓝色、白色，大明嘉庆年次，有中国石器，元朝、明朝，当地的艺术家就他们看白色、蓝色，这很漂亮，然后他们也开始模仿，然后他们自己发明现在的土耳其最有名的色装。
This is the Topkapi Palace. We're here in the rain during the festival of Eid. Unfortunately, the royal kitchen where the porcelain products are housed is currently undergoing repairs, so we aren't able to see the yuan or Ming Chinese items Suet told us about. On our way back, though, to our surprise, we see some Chinese elements in the subway. The door frames are all decorated with China's double happiness design. We spent our last day in Turkey visiting the Confucius Institute at Bosporus University. Here, the influence of Chinese culture is even more apparent. This institute is the second of its kind in Turkey. These days, due to China's economic influence, more and more Turkish people are starting to learn Chinese, hence the expansion of the Confucius Institute. In this classroom, a few young teachers from China are doing an intensive course in the Turkish language during the Eid festival.
Benim tatilim çok güzel. Bir performans.
我们孔子学院呢有一个重要的一个任务，就是帮助他这个加强他这个汉语中心、汉语的项目。因为这个东亚中心同时还有日语、韩语。那么我觉得孔子学院建立以后，它这个汉语的项目应该在这个3个项目中是最强大的。另一方面呢，就是向公众开课。我们想利用就是海峡大学，因为在土耳其是一个一流的一个公立大学，那么我们也想借助它这种影响力呢，在土耳其当地呢，这个树立孔子学院这样一个品牌。
Departing from Uppsala, Turkey, we enter Greece. And after passing by Greece's second largest city, Salonika, we arrive in Athens. Europeans regard ancient Greece as one of the birthplaces of European civilization. But when Greece flourished, the Greeks themselves knew little about China. All they heard was that in the Far East there was a country called Serres, where silk was produced. They had further heard that the people of Serres were of a strong build, could live for more than 200 years, and had skin that was so tough even arrows couldn't penetrate it. Today, of course, people only jokingly talk about the land of Serres or the Serres people. Knowledge of China is now based on regular economic, political and cultural exchanges. In Athens, the Greek Minister for Culture and Tourism warmly welcomes us as guests from the other end of the Silk Road.
Well, as you know, there is a lot of activity that is flourishing now between a lot of economic activity which is flourishing now between the two countries. There's a lot of Greek shipping in China and shipbuilding as well. And China has an interest in various Greek facilities. We have not yet started investments in tourism, which is in my area of interest. But we look forward to creating facilities for the Chinese to feel comfortable coming to Greece.
We leave Greece by ship for Italy. On the dockside, we learn that a Chinese company has invested 4.3 billion euros for a 35-year contract to operate Greece's largest port, Piraeus Port. Britain's Daily Telegraph has commented on this, saying that the Chinese have built a new Silk Road to Europe. Makarrata is a place foreign to most Chinese people, but here in this small coastal city, a historical figure immediately related to China was born. He was Matteo Ricci, a missionary who went to China during the reign of Ming Emperor Chongjian. Matteo was the first person to introduce Western science to the Chinese, and his world map in Chinese helped the Chinese to fully understand the Earth's geography for the first time. Working with Xu Guangqi, he also translated Euclid's Elements. Although to Matteo Ricci, China was a pagan country, to the Italians it was a place where people were prosperous and polite. One of Matteo's achievements was to translate the 4 books into Latin. Another well-known Italian who introduced China to the West was Marco Polo. Marco Polo was born in Venice. His book, The Travels of Marco Polo, which described his adventures in exotic lands, aroused in Europe a strong interest in China. Sitting in a gondola, we search for Marco Polo's residence in the maze of Venetian canals. Reading his book is also a bit like being in a maze. In it, he refers to China having 2 countries, Khitan and China. Generations of Europeans were so misled by this that they were constantly searching for the China beyond Khitan. It was not until 300 years after Marco Polo, when Matteo Ricci came to China, that this mystery was finally solved. From that time, people understood that Khitan was China, and with that, their search for the unknown land in the Far East came to an end. Our final stop is Rome, the end of the Silk Road. In ancient times, Chinese people called the Roman Empire Da-Qin. According to records of the 3 kingdoms, the ancient Romans looked like Chinese, but they dressed like the Wu people. Like their Greek counterparts, the Romans too thought that in the east there was a nation called Ceres, where people could live for more than 200 years. Again, that land was, of course, China. Historical records are, of course, sometimes flawed. But one thing we are told about the ancient Romans that's beyond dispute is that they were obsessed with Chinese silk. They regarded it as beautiful, soft, and comfortable. It's said that on one occasion, Caesar himself displayed his silk robes to his subjects, and they were very much admired by the nobles. Wearing silk was very much the fashion in ancient Rome. This was a bathhouse in ancient Rome. In their bathhouses, the ancient Romans savoured food and took showers, and afterwards they dressed in semi-transparent silk clothes and simply strolled about. But this practice drew criticism from Gallius Plinius, who said that women who dressed in thin silk looked almost naked, thus exerting a bad influence on society. The Senate then issued an order prohibiting men from wearing silk, but it was in vain. Rome's markets were still full of Chinese silk. Historians estimate that the Romans spent somewhere between $0.35 to $1 billion on silk a year. This may well have contributed to Rome's later economic collapse. Rome is bathed in evening sunshine. This is our last day in Rome, and interestingly, a promotion to encourage tourism in Shaanxi province is underway.
让我们在欧亚大陆连接沟通起来，得益于举世闻名的丝绸之路。Immagino che sappiamo tutti.
The Silk Road goes beyond history. Along this historic road, China and other countries have written an epic of trade and cultural exchange. Today, it's still active in promoting respect, understanding, and mutual benefit between China and other countries that were part of the ancient Silk Road.